Superjoint off of Caught Up in the Gears of Application with their track Ruin You. And I've got Mr. Philip Anselmo on the line with me to talk about it. But I remember like the last time we talked was in 2014. And I remember asking the question because you were getting ready to do Housecore Horror Fest and Superjoint was coming back. And I said, like, is this a one-off? And you said absolutely it was. But, I mean, you weren't 100% sure that it was. But it obviously ended up not becoming a one-off. So, you know, how did this whole thing transpire since we last talked, Philip?
Well, to keep it simple and really to the point, it was fun. It was fun to do. We all got in the room and just the camaraderie and maturity level of everyone and the chemistry between everybody was just excellent. And I really, I think everybody enjoyed it so much so that, you know, we thought to ourselves, you know, man, we all play in different bands and you know, there's probably will be, and of course, if that became true, what I'm about to say is there would be a window of time for Superjoint. So sometimes, I guess, the most horrible of circumstances bring about, you know, as they say, you know, each action in this world, you know, it's like a domino effect. It just keeps making other things happen, so to speak. And, you know, between Kate Richardson first coming up with it and getting Corey Mitchell, rest in peace,
rest in peace,
excited about the possibility of Superjoint coming back. It's just funny how things work.
Yeah, well, and you know, looking at the band members now, you've got you know, Jimmy Bauer back on with you, and then you've got you know, your boys from the Illegals sort of filling it out.
Not really.
Well.
You're missing Kevin Bond too.
Yes,
so
that's right. There's Kevin in
members. There. The core members are me, Jimmy, and Kevin. That's our band, man. So really, it's just Steve Taylor on bass, who really is and has become one of my right-hand guys as of late. Best, most fun, and most productive guys to work with as far as writing stuff goes. And Jose Manuel Gonzalez, Blue, the drummer, it's just for a 25-year-old kid, he's getting a lot thrown at him from me, you know, from all sides of the spectrum, but playing Superjoint, you know, I had to sit down with him and let him hear Bill Stevenson from Black Flag, let him understand what Superjoint was all about, and play him a lot of hardcore bands and all the different styles, whether incredibly well played or also leaving that little wiggle room for imperfection. You know, it's all important, you know. So I got a good group around me, and we feel really solid.
Yeah, for sure. Well, musically now, let's talk about the direction of the record. I know that you guys cut the album down in you know, Nosferatu's lair. So I mean, you know, what does
as usual?
Yeah, what does the whole process work in terms of like who comes up with what and when, and you know, how the whole thing comes together?
With Superjoint, man, this time around, it instead of me and Jimmy writing the entire bulk of the riffs, Kevin Bond, Steve Taylor, everybody had their input, and that's fantastic. That's wonderful.
That's
and
awesome.
Really, not to leave Blue out of this, and I'm not going to actually, what I meant to say is to bring and drag young Blue into this. You know, might give him an idea
Mm-hmm.
of what type of beat that I want, but it's up to him to slam the living fuck out of the drum. So that is imperative with Superjoint. But yes, everybody contributed on this album.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes, the more the merrier.
I was just going to touch a little bit on the the 20th of the Great Southern Trendkill. I mean, what is there any specific memory that stands out? During the cutting of that record, and then of course maybe the tours that followed.
Well, it was very interesting times and very trying times as well. On a personal level, I wasn't doing all that well because I was injured. I was making every rookie mistake in the world with pain medications and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was embarrassed. I didn't want to see anybody, man. I was in a bad way. However, I was present throughout the entire writing of the songs musically because I am the lyricist. So therefore, shaping a song and getting it into some semblance of song structure. Of course, they need me there for that.
Yeah.
And needed me there. I guess we're talking past tense here. Needed me there for that. But I did decide to do my vocals on my own at Trent Reznor's studio that he used to have here in New Orleans, which was awesome. And aside from all of that, I had a journalist just yesterday say, well, this is kind of a dark horse record for Pantera. And you know what? I could not disagree with the person.
Mm-hmm.
And I still say, yeah, it was a bit of a dark horse record for Pantera because heavy metal at the time was supposed to be on its way out. Grunge was the number one selling item at the time, genre at the time. Heavy metal was being experimented with by different bands in different ways. And really, from the Pantera perspective, we really, 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 really wanted to fly the pure Pantera style of heavy metal as best we could.
Yeah.
And we did. And, I'll go a bit further and say that right when we were, the day we all arrived to meet up and go on our first tour for the Great Southern Trendkill, my road manager approached me and he said, Phil, man, don't expect sold out shows, man. Heavy metal's on its way out. Kids are listening to different stuff and it's going to be rough and don't expect this, don't expect that. I was like, great, appreciate the big pep talk.
Yeah.
But the best thing that remedied this bullshit diatribe was that he was dead wrong. That first show was packed to the gills, sold out, as were most of the other ones. So, fucking in your face opinion.
Yeah, I know now, like the Floods guitar solo that Dime put down on the record's considered, it's a touchstone for many guitar players. Where were you when you heard that solo the first time? Or were you privy to the solo being developed, or because I know just many people value that as one of Dime's best and brightest and almost awesome solos.
Incredible you mentioned that particular solo because I've been hearing bits, pieces, sections of that guitar solo since 1988, 89, maybe even 87. I'll say 88 because that's probably when Dime got his first 4-track and started tracking stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he always had these little pieces that he'd be working on, and he'd play them for us. And, man, that's cool. That's great. Sounds great. We need to use it. So the Flood's guitar solo, there are parts of it throughout the song when he does even little accents and certain little things where I know for a fact that aside from playing through his big amps and stuff like that, he used mini cabinets as well because of their difference in tonality. So I knew he was up to all of this stuff, but to eventually hear the end result and how he applied all of that was great as it is, and I do think it's great, and I think it's tough for me to judge what solo might be Dimebag's best or anything like that because I think they're all great in their own way. But the Flood solo is excellent, and as I just got through telling you, it's made up of different things that he'd been working on for years and finally got to apply. So I know he was happy about that, and it was very, very magical, really, to hear it all come to light finally.
It makes me think of, that Doors track, Riders on the Storm. Is there like a really, really minor Doors influence on that track, or am I just really grasping at straws here?
You're grasping at straws. No, I don't think Dime did not listen to the Doors. I am a selective Doors fan. There's certain songs for me that just stand out way more than others. Believe it or not, my favorite Doors song is The Crystal Ship.
That's a good one.
Ironically, or maybe not so unironically, Terry Date, our producer at the time, told me about the night that Dimebag cut that solo. And when he did, there was a thunderous and torrential downpour right over the studio, right over Fort Worth, Texas. And then they actually pulled microphones out and recorded the sounds of the rain and the thunder and all of that stuff, man. So a lot of that stuff, like the rains and maybe some of the rolling thunder and stuff like that, that's heard on the record. It could be real stuff.
Wow.
And that is the truth. That is a bit of an ironic story for you.
It's amazing how sometimes fate just totally, does something, unexpected and amazing, and sometimes
the amazing unites with reality.
Well, listen, man, it's always a real pleasure and an honor getting to chat with you on the phone, and it's onward and upward as it always is, one foot in front of the other, and you get from point A to point B, and wherever point B is just another step in the journey.
It is, and I appreciate that very much. And man, I gotta say right back at you as far as the honor and speaking with you and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, with that, I'll let you go. But thanks again, man. Much appreciated.
Oh, dude, anytime, anywhere, you know how to reach me.
All right. Have a good day, sir.